So I'm going to share a little bit of my backstory with you guys. Wow. So I was born in 1972 on the Wirral in the northwest. Unfortunately, my mum was quite ill with her mental health. So I was placed into the care system at 4 months old. I stayed with that lady for about a month and then I went back home for a while. Then when I was 4 years old and my sister was 2, we both ended up in the care system again for quite a few years. When I was 7, I went back home for a while, but for the 2-year period that I was at home, it was very, very unstable. We had homemakers that came in. My mum tried to commit suicide. Then we were burgled by our next door neighbour, which triggered off my mum's mental health again, and we ended up moving house the day before I was 9. So by this age, I was very, very traumatised and believed that everything was my fault. I believed I was in care because I was bad and it was all down to me. And my mum would continuously emotionally blackmail me and try and make me be perfectly behaved, with the threat of going back into care always hanging over me, and this really, really disturbed me. So at 12 years old, I was threatened with going back into care, so I ran away. I was homeless for about a week, going around trying to just get food, sleeping on the street, slept in a subway, slept on a bridge over the railway. I was picked up a week later and taken to another children's home. By that age, I'd been passed around from quite a lot of foster parents and different children's homes, and I was really, really, really messed up at this point. And eventually I settled into a children's home where I was going to stay until I was 16. I met a boy, fell in love, ended up pregnant at 15. I was just so desperate to be loved after suffering so much rejection from my mum and my dad. But unfortunately, I was virtually forced to not have my baby. And that further traumatised me. I left that home and ended up in a hostel at 16 up until I was just before I was 18. In fact, I was 18. I then met my first husband, got pregnant again really, really quickly and had my first baby at 18. That ended up being a really volatile relationship. I was really messed up. He was really messed up. I ended up with a broken rib when I was pregnant with my second child. Basically attacked and broken rib. And it wasn't good. There were drugs and drink and not good. Then I had my third baby at age 21. He basically was dead when he was born, but they resuscitated him, told me he'd have cerebral palsy, checked him for a year, he was fine, nothing wrong with him at all, perfectly healthy. But at age 22, 3 children and then getting divorced. Even though I'd left school with all my GCSEs, I passed all my exams, amazingly enough. Because I had 3 children and was single parent, I literally couldn't get a job. So I had lots of courses that I did. I'm a level 1 qualified bookkeeper. Also a level 1 qualified chef. I also have qualifications in care in the community. Life was really hard as a single parent with 3 young children, and I just learned to survive on my own. Hope you like that first half of my story and my makeup too. Join me for part 2 of that story at another date, to be continued.